And we've come to the top of the rock, 67 floors above New York City, with the backdrop of the Empire State Building. Of course, film fans everywhere know what happened on the Empire State Building, and a lot of people are waiting for the remake, the reintroduction of King Kong, set to hit theaters very soon, starring these gentlemen here and the beautiful Naomi Watts.
Anne, I want you to imagine a handsome explorer bound for the Far East.
You're filming in the Far East?
Singapore. On board ship, he meets a mysterious girl. She's beautiful. She's fragile, haunted. And she can't escape the feeling that forces beyond her control are compelling her down a road from which she cannot draw back. It's as if her whole life has been a prelude to this moment. This fateful meeting that changes everything. And sure enough, against her better judgment,
she falls in love.
Yes.
But she doesn't trust it. She's not even sure if she believes in love.
Really?
If she loves someone, it's doomed.
Why is that?
Good things never last, Mr. Denham.
Naomi Watts, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
What do you think of our backdrop?
It is a fine backdrop.
Yeah, it's pretty,
and a beautiful morning. It's like a painting.
I understand that when you were approached to do this role, you didn't even hesitate. You didn't even look at the script. You just said, I want to be this character. Why?
That's right. Well, firstly, Peter Jackson, you know,
the director.
The director. He's made a number of great films, and I think the role was very iconic, which had its upsides and downsides. But I mean, I'd seen both versions and been very moved by both. And I thought, well, Peter Jackson has you know, he's the man in terms of these kinds of effects that it would need.
I'm curious to hear you say you saw both versions. I mean, people know by your accent right now and knowing your history, you're not from Brooklyn, you're from Australia. Was Kong huge in Australia? Was it the same kind of icon that it was here in the States and in New York?
Well, I was living in England when I saw it, but yes, it definitely did have that following, and I mean, it was very much iconic. One
of the great things in the stories behind this movie is that you actually got the chance to meet Fay Wray, who was the original Anne Darrow.
That's right.
And what was that meeting like for you?
It was fantastic. I mean, you knew that it was like a night that you'd never forget. And we walked into this little apartment. Her friend Rick McKay hosted a dinner, and we all sat there and we chit-chatted, and she was just wonderful. She was a beautiful woman.
And I understand at the end she kind of leaned in and said something very sweet to you.
Yeah, she did. Well, because she set off the night by saying, "You're not Anne Darrow, I'm Anne Darrow." and I was like, oh no, she doesn't want to give up the part, you know. It's like your classic actress holding on to the part. I would be the same, by the way. And anyway, at the end of the night, she just whispered to me, you know, she's in good hands, Anne Darrow.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's a generous gesture at the end.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
The movie it's going to be a blockbuster, obviously. You've got great special effects, but I know the studio is very careful to promote this also as Beauty and the Beast. There is an emotional, without making it sound kinky, there is an emotional connection between you and King Kong.
Right.
So how did you take on that aspect of the movie?
Well, this was something I was very nervous about, obviously, because there is, you know, the relationship part of this movie is so important. And if that doesn't work, then, you know, you can't go there. The fantasy has to be real. But Peter, when I met with him and his partner, Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens, the writers, they explained how they were going to shoot it. You know, it wasn't just going to be me looking at a stick with a tennis ball on the end of it. So along comes Andy Serkis, who played Gollum in Lord of the Rings, and he was extraordinary. I mean, without him,
gave you something to work with.
Well, more than, yeah. I mean, this man went to Africa, studied the gorillas, and spent time in the London Zoo. He knew all the behavior. I mean, it sounds weird, but I really was looking at him and believing and going there.
There's all kinds of Oscar buzz, which is somewhat unusual when you consider the type of movie this is. It doesn't happen very often, so congratulations in advance on that. I'm not going to let you go without, you spend a lot of time in the movie screaming, so I have 15 seconds before commercial. Give me your best Ann Darrow scream.
Is that what this is all about?
Yes, the throat lozenges are here. You can have the lemon and the Ricola. I now have 10 seconds. I now have 4 seconds.
Okay, wait a second.
Go, Naomi!
Are you going to climb that building?
Go! We're back right after this.